Thanks for dropping in. For the last month, I've been making Printy Pipes, a 3D printable building toy. This video completes the Printy Pipe trilogy, with even more updates and parts. There's a lot to cover, so let's get going. First up is a backwards compatible improvement to every single Printy Pipe connector. It's pretty subtle, but there's a small trench running around the base of each port, right here. This works with clamp pipes to give a satisfying click and an even stronger hold. A nice benefit with this clamp connection is the pipe can still twist freely on the connector. This allows for assembly configurations that weren't possible when the connector was fully locked in. You may have noticed that the clamp-on pipes have also been updated. They now have the holes necessary to work with TP rivets, lock rings, and locking detents. Considering how versatile these clamp pipes are, I'd now consider them to be the go-to option. Just make sure to print these pipes using PETG, PLA+, or similar strong filament with really good layer adhesion. If you use something too brittle, these tabs, which need to flex somewhat, could snap off. But enough small updates, let's get to some completely new parts. By far the most requested update of the last two videos was wheels. So here they are, but a wheel isn't very useful on its own, so it comes with a new axle connector and a hubcap. To attach a wheel, first connect the axle, then slide the wheel onto the axle and lock it into place with a hubcap. You can also slide wheels directly onto any straight pipe, but be careful if you're using the optional locking detents. You see, detents need to be accessible to be unlocked. So, if you block them with a wheel and lock the wheel in from both sides, that wheel's never coming off, at least not without destroying the connector. Using the axle and hubcap configuration, on the other hand, guarantees that at least one set of detents is always visible, so you can always remove the wheel. Next up, we have some new snap-on slats. These textured slats work the same way as the original, but they have a nice rugged feel, and these new window slats are good for architectural designs. Oh, and you can also use them as a pencil holder. Really, all these new parts have more uses than I could possibly come up with or cover here. A few new parts require non-3D printed hardware, but the extra functionality they bring is worth it. This wall mount connector is great for making shelves or displaying your Printy Pipe creations. You can even use it to make a wall-mounted spool holder. Just add a small screw with a head that's small enough to sit flush inside the connector. Then screw the entire thing into the wall. This tilting connector brings a lot of flexibility to your designs. It can be used to create swinging doors, or connect pipes that are joining at weird angles. If you string a few of these together, it's practically a fidget toy. This part requires an 18mm long M3 bolt. The hole on one side is a little wider than the other, so the bolt won't unscrew itself just from tilting the connector back and forth. All this increased flexibility can cause weird situations where pipes and connectors don't quite line up. In these cases, a twist connector can be useful. Both have spin freely around a 10mm long M3 bolt. The final mechanical focus connector for this video loosely joins two or more pipes together laterally. I don't really have a use for this yet, but look, you can stagger a set of them side by side to create a flexible chain, so that's pretty neat. Let me know if you have any ideas for how this could be used. This next part is purely aesthetic. It's a flag. It's a bit plain right now, but that's sort of the point. This is a perfect part to remix and customize into your own thing. If you're not a fan of modeling software, a little acrylic paint would also work. The final two updates are the biggest. As I promised in the last video, I looked into creating connectors that would break away from the rigid 90-degree grid. I ended up with two different options to meet that goal. The first is based on a dodecahedron and has two connectors. A three-way connector that, if used on its own, will form a complete dodecahedron, and this two-way connector that can cut through that dodecahedron to make a dome or a bowl. For the most part, these new connectors don't play well with the others, but with some creative placement, standard Printy Pipe connectors can build outward from each pentagonal face. The next option is based off of everyone's favorite polygon. That's right, the bestagon, a hexagon. This set includes 6 connectors, most of which are fairly close analogs to the standard connections. Unlike the dodecahedron, the hexagonal grid can easily accommodate snap-on slats, making it a great option for making shelves. You may have noticed that the two-way connector for the dodecahedron set and the two-way connector for the hexagonal grid set look nearly identical, even though they are different. To keep the main Printy Pipes project as clear as possible, both of these crazier connection sets are going to be posted as their own separate projects. Check the video description for links to those. As a final update, I'm posting a step file which will have the raw geometry needed so you can create your own custom Printy Pipe parts. If you post a remix with your own custom designs, let me know, I'd love to see them. And if you have ideas to make this building toy even better, mention it in the comments. This will be my last Printy Pipe focused video for a while, but I have no doubts that this project will pull me back in the future. So until next time, happy printing and thanks for stopping by.